So for the Boys and Girls Club, our summer camp program was funded and allowing us to be able to offer support to the community during the summer months. So our summer camp program is really, especially this year, supported a lot of essential workers that needed to return to work, but childcare for their children was going to be an important part of that. As well as those families that are in need because they're working as well, and maybe not essential services, but we're working at that point. And families that might need respite care, who just need, this spring there was a lot of time spent at home, so the opportunity to allow their kids to get out and interact with other children and be on their own a bit more was really critical to families. And so our summer camp programs really support a lot of families each year to be able to go to work and to do the things they need to do. It's pretty impactful for the community. We traditionally have several hundred kids in our summer camp programs, and those programs they do a couple different things. One, they support the community in the sense that all those parents are able to go to work, which obviously keeps the community moving. And so those families are able to go and earn their incomes and support the community, and those services are available to everybody in the community. We stimulate the community as well because we rent facilities, we participate in programs, we go to trips. So there's opportunities for us to help support the community, and we engage the community as well to be involved. So from volunteers to guest speakers to different instructors that we might bring in. And so our program can really be community driven in that it really engages all aspects of the community, both for the children and obviously them experiencing all sorts of new fun things and building new friendships. But also the community as a whole. So our after-school programs were funded, which provide care for families after school, kind of that tough time period where the school day ends, but families aren't quite done their work days. And so it provides that support system for them. Yeah, so this program targets, again, specifically the family's needs for care during work hours as a number one priority. So a lot of families, you can't get off at 3:30 in the afternoon. So it provides a safe place for children to go across the city of Kawartha. We have multiple programs in the city, and it provides a safe place. It also provides opportunities for children. So both for food and nutrition, we provide snack programs and things like that for them so that they are able to get a good quality afternoon snack. They get some recreational opportunities that are hard to come by these days because there's not a lot that can be done. So it's an opportunity to interact with other kids and to be active and to do different things and learn new skills. And so it becomes a really important part for the children's mental health and physical health and wellness, as well as to support families in their needs as well. It's again very similar to our summer camp program in that the ability to provide a space for kids to be, allowing families to then work is really critical to keeping the whole system moving. So many families would struggle if they didn't have access to that program to go to work every day. We hear that from families all the time that it's a lifesaver for them because without it they don't know how they would pull it off. So it becomes a really critical resource for the families, but also those families then obviously are providing those services in the community that we all need, from nurses to grocery store people. It doesn't matter what it is. We have the variety there. So it really impacts the community and how that engages. So it has been interesting for sure. It has changed our programs in that everything is a lot more streamlined than it usually would. It's unfortunate that the kids, they can't interact amongst everybody in the building as much as they would normally. But it has given us some great opportunities. We have increased screening and cleaning processes, and everything we do inside the building right now is kind of in that kind of cohort piece. So every group is its own group, and they have their own staff person, and they don't switch around and all that kind of stuff. So it does create a lot of limitations in that way. The building's never been cleaner. It's been scrubbed pretty good. But the one nice part that we've learned from this experience is that ability. It does give us time to work with the same group of kids more regularly, which gives us opportunities to do new and unique things that can carry over day to day, week to week. Those kids have really built some great relationships within their own group because they're the same kids they see every day. But it has really changed a lot of our approach and being really scripted in a lot of things as far as safety stuff and to a positive. Obviously, we want to make sure we keep everybody safe, but it has really changed. Our building is not its normal flow of things all over the building. It's very much like this room has this and that room has that, and it's not perfect and ideal, but it's what's doable within the pandemic, and so we're making it work best we can. I can't be more proud of our staff. They're doing it in person and in virtual capacities everywhere. It's just the quality they've been doing has been awesome, and the families have appreciated that. And so it has really made it a different experience for sure. I think just how well they can unite, pun United Way, but like the idea of just how everybody comes together, right? I think that we've really been so impressed with the collective approach to things. Whether the funding like this that is just, hey, we know that agencies need support to pull this off, and we're going to figure out a way to help them. To collaborations, to communication, everything from like the health unit and how great they've been to keep us connected and keep us updating us and supporting us to make sure that we're doing everything in the best possible way to provide safety for everyone, to partners that have access to funding that are looking to support other agencies, to sharing of information and techniques and tricks and where to find PPE and things like that. Like everybody has collectively really tried to pull together for the best interest of the community. And I think that's, you always know that that's there. Like everybody always wants the best interest of the community, but the way that everybody has kind of just dropped their barriers and worked together and said, like, wait, let's just figure out how we can do this best for everybody, I think is an amazing thing. And it really speaks well to our community and what kind of people we have. I think for us, and it's just because of the area that we work in, is supporting children and youth physically and mentally. So we really recognize, we're really emphasizing as an agency now and over the next while around the mental health supports to children and youth as well. There's been a lot of time in kind of isolation from their peer groups. So yes, they've been back in school this year and stuff, but a lot of those community activities, interactions on personal time are pretty limited. And we've seen and heard and recognized that that this is going to be something that could impact kids over the next while and their mental health state. And so we really are emphasizing in on, as we come through this, how can we be available and ready to support them? We do have several mental health programs that we think can really be important to those families and those children and youth. But we also want to make sure we provide them some, simplistically, some fun, some opportunity to get out, get active, interact, to do some stuff in a safe way, but to make sure that we provide that opportunity for those kids to start to get active again and to engage again with others and in the community. And we really want to be kind of a piece to the puzzle that helps children and youth, start to interact again and start to talk about what the challenges have been like for them, and get them to the right supports, whether it's us, whether it's someone else. But we want to really be a support network to kids to help bring them through this and out the other side where things can feel a little more normal again and maybe have some fun and start to interact. I think all of us have struggled with that social aspect of, doing video screening is about as close as you're getting these days. So, so it would be, we're really emphasizing in our next year planning that it's a lot about making sure that we have the programs and services, we do them in a safe way, and and we're there and ready to support them with any mental health needs that they might have from day one. Yeah, so there's the actual, numbers thing. There's also the impact that we've seen to families, hearing it from parents that, thank you so much for offering the service. And, it's funny because we early on were worried about how all the increased measures that we put in place, how families would feel about it, right? There was so much more. They had to arrive at certain times in the morning, and we needed time to screen and everything else. We're like, oh, this could be really, hard. And not a single family was upset at us. Like, they were just like, no, we just appreciate you doing this for us. And I wouldn't be able to go to work if it wasn't for it. And they're so excited to just get out of the house. So hearing that feedback from families obviously was a way that we were able to assess the impact of it. And then obviously the children themselves. So we saw and continue to see on a day-to-day basis the excitement in their faces, the smiles on their faces, the interactions that just, I remember one kid during the summer who they were playing a game, and like we had to do it in a way that kept some social distancing, obviously, but we were outside in a field and he was running and stuff and playing the game, and then like he kind of like flopped over on the ground. I went over and I'm like, you okay, bud? He's like, I haven't done much in a while. I'm really tired. So it's silly, but it was so nice to hear a kid that's just like, hey, I'm getting active again. And like, he loved it. He was smiling, but he was just completely exhausted. And so I think those kind of anecdotal feedback from the kids too really kind of makes you feel pretty good that you're having an impact. And then I think lastly, just our staff themselves, coming out of the lockdown aspect. So from March through to June, we were pretty much completely shut down for the most part, other than some virtual based stuff. And we'd already hired our staff team for the summer before any of this hit. So we knew who we were going to bring in. But I think that one of the things that this funding really did was to help reassure those staff. So when they were hired on originally, it was like for a normal summer. And then once everything changed, we were starting to plan with them again, but in a completely different way. And you could see, and even they said it directly, the worries that they had. Obviously at that point in the pandemic, we knew very little about, just that it was rampant and growing fast, and they were worried. And so this funding that we received from the United Way was really impactful because it allowed us to put the proper screening, the proper cleaning regimens in place that reassured those staff. And so they were worried coming in, and then we went through and said, this is how the process is going to work. And you can just see their faces and their shoulders kind of dropped, like relaxed. They were like, oh, okay. And so I think hearing from them that they felt comfortable was huge, because if they got into day-to-day tense and worried, it would have made it really hard for them to be successful with the kids. And they didn't. They were excited. They were happy. They were comfortable. And then you'd hear from them, like the stories from them all day about like, oh, this kid is so funny. And like, just the interactions and all the worries, to be honest with you, all the worries we had about, how families are going to respond, how kids would respond to wearing masks all the time and stuff like that. They just didn't care. They really were just like, let's have some fun. And so all those things combined, from numerical stuff to hearing anecdotally from parents and kids and staff, all those things really helped us to see, this is impacting the community pretty significantly. The Boys and Girls Club was very appreciative of the United Way and obviously the funding sources that came with that, both for creating a system that was quick and effective, because sometimes things can get bogged down really slowly if it's not laid out well. And I think it really was. And I think that was really huge. And just having the resources available, I don't know that we would have been able to come back with our summer camps when we did if it wasn't for support like this. We didn't want to levy the expenses on families, and we were just like, we can't do that. And we can't, we don't have, it's not like a huge profit margin on the things we do. So the idea of all the additional expenses that we're going to be kind of absorbed by the club, it was like, I don't know if we can pull this off. And it was when we got some of these funding sources like this, it just changed our abilities, and that was really amazing. And so I compliment them, United Way, and all the funding sources out there on their quick response to the community and the ability to support them. So that was amazing.